my papa's diary of his trip to the Christland in 1967. Somehow during the evening meal, the story started and circulated that we could go into town on the bus and enjoy some native folk dancing. So some of us headed out for a period, so around 9 p.m. some of us headed out for a period of relaxation. But there was a little mistake in the story. The place to where we were directed just turned out to be a local nightclub with only one similarity to the tale given us. There were folks dancing. Our stay here was short and we returned back to the hotel. It was a nice evening drive anyways. Now I shall try and describe the incident that happened this night. Not only shall it serve as a purpose to remind me of the joys of this Christland, but shall always come to mind when I think of spiritual experiences or walks with God. Soon after we returned to the hotel, I grabbed my flashlight from my grip and walked down to the edge of the sea. I walked to the water and submerged my hands, not as a ritual or any specific purpose other than to satisfy a desire to touch the water of that sea. Then I walked out about 100 feet on a little pier and sat down in a chair. The sea was quite calm, but water could be heard rustling the structure of the pier. But with some effort, I was able to become unaware of any disturbances. As I sat in darkness and solitude with heavenly thoughts beginning to formulate, I began to feel the presence of God. In that 45-minute period of prayer and meditation, it seemed my thoughts traveled from childhood through this earthly life into life eternal. As I prayed about the many things of which I am ashamed, it was as though God was sitting on the pier beside me, listening to my every thought here above the water upon which Jesus walked. Never have I felt any closer to him, nor have I had better assurance of personal salvation. It was as if I had actually walked with God. And certainly, I shall never forget the spiritual plateau attained through this experience. After this devotional time, I do not believe I could have been unhappy or could have had unhappy thoughts. Everything seemed cheerful. I cannot explain why this place was chosen to be the site of this experience, nor do I care. No doubt God had much to do with the selected time and place. Perhaps it was because this was the only time of this entire trip could I subject myself to this privacy, darkness, freedom of thought, etc. I say again, this shall always be the most memorable incident of my pilgrimage to the Christland. As I walked back to the hotel room, prepared for bed, and fell asleep, my heart and mind were filled with the tranquility placed there by the Spirit of God. Today and always shall be my most memorable incident of my pilgrimage to the Christland. It shall always bring a face of smiles and a heart of happiness. As every true Christian is aware, daily life may be filled with temptation, sorrow, strife, doubt, and sin, but we can always claim that peace beyond our understanding as our heads are laid upon the pillow of sleep.
So good.